Okay, 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 okay. Sorry about that, folks. I was just getting into that little intro song I got going on there. I was over here dancing, chair was squeaking, back was creaking. Just getting down the way I do. Anyway, welcome to this video. This is going to be a short one today. Just kind of going over some decks I'm going to be working on for future, as you can see, War of the Spark season. I have already purchased the 50 packs ready to go on the 25th, as well as the fancy schmancy Liliana Dreadhorde General. But I got 4 decks kind of in the works that I'm thinking about playing, and hopefully with between this and the right now I'm sitting at about 30,000 gold, we'll be able to create most of what we need. But let's take a look and see what we're thinking about playing. Deck number 1 is Griffiths Midrange. Griffiths Midrange had a pretty good base going to it already, I believe. Is missing some things. Keep in mind, these decks aren't really optimized or anything. It's going to take some testing and playing with. That's why you see so many 2-ofs and 3-ofs here. But new cards I'm thinking about adding to this thing. Angrass Rampage, kind of one all catch all 2-mana card. Maybe better out of the side, but I feel like it's just so versatile that it's worth main boarding a couple of them here. Liliana's one that may go to the side, but man, each opponent sacrifices a creature for 2 mana instant speed. Is basically going to be a removal spell for, whatever. We got enough removal, we're hopefully just keeping them down to one creature at a time. And that extra ability there, if you control Liliana Planeswalker, we do play 2 Lily, so you never know. 3 Ilharg, the Raise Boar. This thing, we can't haste it out, which is a kind of a bummer, because hasting this thing out seems like it'd be really strong. And we'll talk more about that later once we get to Gruul mid-range. But look at the creatures we play here, the things that you can do. Hasty out of Thief of Sanity, so you can get a swing in, take one of their cards. That seems pretty good. Nicol Bolas seems absolutely disgusting at haste out because it comes down, they discard a card, you get your 4 damage in, return it back to hand on end step, and then next turn just do it again, make them discard another. That seems pretty good. And worst case, even just get boring with it. Just put an old Phoenix into play and get 4 flying in the air to come through. I think the important thing with a card like Ilharg is you don't need to get super cute to make it good because it's good on its own anyways. Just play good stuff, and that's the thing with Griffiths Midrange. It's just good cards. The new Nicol Bolas, I've only got 2 right here just because the mana cost. Even though I think we can cast it, still that's pretty restrictive. I want to try it out though. Seems like a great Planeswalker and one I want to try. And at the very top end, 2 Liliana Dreadhorde General. We've already got 1 guarantee, so that's 1 less wild card I'll have to spend. But the card seems sweet, and I want to try it out. So moving on from Grixis, we got some Esper mid-range going on. This is kind of based off of Ross Merriam was playing this on the Star City Games channel. Him and Todd were doing some play testing here, and man, some cards in that deck looked really nice. Flip, kind of an Elvis Visionary role for this deck here. Drawing a card seems nice. Tyrant Scorn was showed off today, and that looked good. That's the one. It's a blue and a black to destroy a creature with a converted mana cost 3 or less, and another mode where you can return a creature to the hand. Seems good. You still got Hero, Deputy, Thief of Sanity from the old style. We still play Teferi, because for those of you who haven't forgot, he's kind of a good card. New cards we're throwing in here. 3 mana Gideon just seems stupid to me. This new Teferi, sorry, let's not skip down here. New Teferi, I'm not as sold on personally, but I know a lot of you love him. I think he's better out of the side, but I want to play him just to kind of test him out and see. I hear good things about him, so we'll just have to see what happens. Soren gets back all the creatures in this deck, which is really nice. And does that work with Fibble Flip? No, it doesn't work with Fibble Flip. Still, it's another way to get a card if we're absolutely desperate and need one. Lastly, when I was watching the Star City game thing, Time Wipe seems stupid good. The cutest thing you can do here is, say you've deputy attention to something, you time wipe, return your deputy to hand, give them back whatever creature you'd stolen with it, and then all of a sudden you just time wipe it anyway and kill them. Next turn they play a threat, you deputy again. That seems real dumb. Not sure why my Steam button is up here all randomly all of a sudden, but that's strange. Yeah, but that's for mid-range. Seems like a good deck. Along with Grixis, both these decks are definitely tier 1 and probably can't be beat, so I've already created 2 of the best decks on Standard. So I'm not trying to say give me a pat on the back, but a Rebel Machini Chin Chin, that do good. So next up, another super tier 1 deck is Mardu Aristocrats. This is probably the most cut and dry, clean list I got. A lot of 4-ofs here, a lot of cards from the old one, but we did get some really good weapons to add to this. Mainly Cruel Celebrator. This is the reason we can play this deck now. This deck really wanted a Blood Artist type of effect, and this in combination with Judith, that's so much damage to do. And what do you do against those creatures? Dreadhorde Butcher coming in. I think this is a good replacement for Fireblade Artist because it's still a 2 mana haster that gets bigger, and when it dies, it automatically does damage there. You just got so many ways of punishing them for having removal for your creatures and making it hard to deal with. And lastly, once again, it's our boy Soren. He's out of the stone. He's free now, and he's just returning creatures left and right. The biggest thing for this, I want to be spent. I want to be -3 and returning your Judith. Get her Judith and keeps getting some nasty, nasty swings in against an opponent. But this is overall, this just seems like a really great fit for this deck. And of all the things I've seen for Soren, I think Soren fits the most well in this kind of deck. Otherwise, it's still your boys that you know and love. All those guys, they're back. And heroic reinforcements, of course, to close the games out and get that win out of nowhere. Last, maybe least, maybe not least, who knows? Griffiths Midrange, just the deck you guys have seen me playing the most of. Last standard with some changes. I switched out Pelt Collector for Land of War Elves because we're playing Rhythm of the Wild. I don't know how I feel about for Rhythm of the Wild, but I kind of want to lean into Ilrag on this again, or Ilharg, because this is the one where you can haste this out. It gets really disgusting, and you can kind of do some busted things with this. On top of that, a turn 2 Domri seems pretty nice from Land of War Elves. Domri giving yourself +1/+0. A lot of times, just the Anthem itself is going to be pretty nice, but being able to have it have a removal spell and to be able to ramp out creatures seems really good. Seems like a lot of people are kind of sleeping on this card overall, but I think it's great. And lastly, of the new cards, God Eternal Ronus seems absolutely nuts in this thing. Being able to double the creature, the power and toughness, or it's just power, right? Yeah, being able to double the power of those creatures just seems dumb. A lot of times I think this is going to come down and you're going to be swinging for lethal or close to it. The dream, of course, Ilharg dropping God Eternal Ronus swinging like that. If you can tell me how you lose that game, I'd love to hear it. Anyways, that's all I got. Otherwise, it's kind of the same deck. And again, I realize Chain Whirler may not work with this kind of mana. I'm not really sure. Like I said, we're kind of just spitballing here, just trying to get a basic overview of what I want to be doing. But that's the 4 decks I'm kind of looking forward to the most in here. Otherwise, this is what we got going on right now. We'll see what we can do in the next standard. Hope you guys enjoyed. Would love to hear some feedback on the deck, some ideas that maybe you all have, and we'll get back to it next time. Y'all have a great day, and I will see you later.